Yes. And you're saying what was it? The Dark Eye was
The Dark Eye German role-playing game, and I just got it today.
Cool.
Heard the dogs barking, opened the front door, and there was a big package from Germany, and it's massively overproduced in the way that the Germans adorably do.
Yes.
So it has all this extra stuff, and it has. I mean, the crate it came in has a sleeve cover for it, which is crazy. I thought so.
Wow, a sleeve cover on the crate.
Yes.
Right. Well,
isn't this going to get thrown away? And and there's tons of little boxes of cards, and there's hardback books with text in German that I can't read. But it's clearly not my game. It's a novel or something, or background material. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, it was cool. They sent it to me because I own the. I asked for a copy. I said I should have everything that I do. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Cool. And then you are starting, let's see what my normal questions are. Well, let's go to your next thing. So you're saying you're running, I know you have a Kickstarter up and coming for Planet Apocolypse.
Yeah, on the 21st, I think it starts. So in 10 days. Yeah, and that's actually, that Kickstarter actually has two heads. One of it is a reprint of the Planet Apocolypse board game, which got released in like January and has had, and happily for me, has had massive critical acclaim. So a lot of people really like it. Which makes me happy, and and then the other head though is the role-playing version, which is the Planet Apocolypse sourcebook for 5e. And the idea behind it is that when there's campaigns where there's tons of campaigns where the bad guy is threatening to destroy the world, right? But he never gets to destroy the world because like you have to keep playing your world. So I said, in my 40 years as a game master, there have been times that I was actually 73 to 20, so 47 years as a game master. There's been times that I wanted to go on to a new game world, and start a new campaign, doing something different, or even just menace the players in the way that. So the Planet Apocolypse idea is that this campaign literally can destroy your game world, give it a great send-off. If you're ready to start some new thing, because now you want to go and play in Ravenloft or something, this destroys your old world in a spectacular way that's super fun. And if the players manage to pull off saving the world, that's cool too. They know it was actually at risk, at least. You know? And then you can also play it just by saying, well, I don't want to destroy my world. I just want to use these cool new demon ideas. And they aren't like the D&D demons from the Chaos Evil or the devils from. They're like the deeper level of sub-evil is the idea. The concept being that if lawful evil and chaos evil both have the concept of evil, so there must be some evil beneath them. And that's what these come from, is the idea. Okay. So you can also just use those, or you can have, and there's scenarios in it showing how to set up your campaign. We don't provide the campaign, but we show you how to, because it's going to be your world that you're blowing up, right? So you need we give examples of how you start, finish, end. And so it's like the idea is that you can play. You start off with the apocalypse beginning, then you have as long as you want during the apocalypse, and the whole world's falling apart. Which, as we know from movies, for example, is a pretty fun place to experience. And, I mean, fun for the observer, not for the presumably the characters in the movie. But you don't care about that because you're the players, right? Exactly. And then also after the apocalypse, if the world isn't actually eaten up, then you have this cool post-apocalyptic world, which we've also all seen movies and read books about that are cool. So, and then of course my game Cthulhu Wars is kind of about the Cthulhu apocalypse. This is like a hell apocalypse with demons, but
it's pretty cool. Yeah. So it's just that's what the idea is. Is a demon apocalypse? Yeah, I always like the idea of a magic apocalypse, or something like that.
Well, I mean, they're magical, so I don't know if you've seen any of the images of them, but they're really striking and unusual looking.
Oh yeah, I did look at the Kickstarter, and it made me have a lot of questions actually about what is the setting, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you explained it pretty well. So you blow up your setting, or any setting really.
You blow up your setting, you're playing in your homebrew world, or perhaps you're preparing a homebrew world, and in the meantime you're playing in Greyhawk or something. Well, now you can destroy Greyhawk. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
You can destroy, what's the world Pathfinder's on? I can't think. It starts with a G.
Glorian or something like that.
Yeah, Glorian. So, yeah, you can destroy that, or whatever world you're in, you can destroy. Yeah. And then the real truth is, if you want to go back and play in that world again, obviously you can. You can say, well, it's a different dimension, or it's 100 years before it got destroyed. So whatever you want to do is fine. But it's kind of cool. The idea is that I think it'd be fun for players. Well, having actually done this, I know that it's fun, at least for my players, to be in a situation where the actual world is a threat. Because in the back of your head, when you're playing most games, that really won't happen.
Yeah.
So if you're now in a game where it's actually going to happen, where the guys that gave you quests and gave you rewards and set up the things, they're all going to go away, even the evil ones. And everyone in the world that's bad guys is trying to decide if they're going to fight the hell things or join up with them, and the good guys are making the same choice. Then you have an interesting world.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Action-packed adventure, and that is the idea behind it.
Nice. And are you planning on making any sagas for it? Any continuation, anything like that?
Depending on how well it does, what we have in it right now is there's 3 scenarios. There's a scenario that takes place at the very start, like before the apocalypse begins, to show you how it can kick off. Basically, you're going into your standard bar or whatever, like a regular boring. It's intentionally the most boring start possible for a campaign, where you go into a bar and this guy's talking to you, but then it all goes to hell in a handbasket immediately, and you're like, whoa, it's everything's overturned. And then there's a scenario for the middle of it, and there's a climactic scenario for the end, so you fill in the gaps. And if that does really well, then we will probably do a campaign for it. But I don't know if we're going to do sagas, because doing one 60 to 90 page hardcover book a month is already kind of filling our
a lot of work,
keeping us occupied, right?
Yes.
And to be frank, there's overlap there, because a lot of the sagas are also menacing the world, because it's Cthulhu monsters, right? So that's what they do.
Yeah.
In fact, we have one coming up called Eater of Worlds, which is explicitly a Cthulhu thing that destroys the whole world, or threatens to. I think one of the 4 books takes place almost entirely inside the monster. You're inside its internal organs trying to do things. So. Oh,
interesting, because it ate the world.
I want to have unusual, strange things going on in these. So like Snake Granddaddy, you've read that, you saw it. It's kind of weird. You have the evil bad guys who are the snake people, and yet they're kind of stumble bums, right? They keep summoning up things from past time that are smarter than they are. The elder thing, and the Yithians, and the polyps. And then,
they keep messing it up.
They keep messing it up, And,
that's always a fun premise. So there's a lot of times where countries even get in over their head and they do the stupid thing.
Oh, absolutely. We have all of World War II to see that, right? Plus others.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in Ghoul Island, I'm sure you've read that, has the basic theme where you have these ghouls that are seen to be worshiping a god. And of course, we know from Lovecraft that the ghouls are complete scoffers and atheists, right? And then it finds out they're not really worshiping the god. They just want to get a whole lot of jerky, so to speak.
Yeah.
When all the humans get mummified.
Yeah.
So they're just in it for the snacks.
Right. There's ulterior motives.
Doesn't mean they are dangerous, but it's like this weird premise, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's fun. I like twists and alternative, especially. I mean, I've read a lot of fantasy, and so for me, it's like I like things that have a twist. Yeah, like I've read.
Yeah, if it's just another. I got
a fantasy book. I've probably read it. Yeah,
there's an evil wizard. Yeah, yawn. Well, the next one coming up after Snake Granddaddy is called Dark Worlds, and the first episode of that, basically, a wizard does a spell that takes all the players with you to Yuggoth, which is Pluto. And then there's a spell cast on you, which will wear off after a while, to keep you alive in like Pluto's climate.
Yeah. And
you're desperately trying to find your way back to your planet, because you don't you'll freeze and suffocate and everything. And the wizard won't help you, because early on in the adventure, he gets his brain extracted by the fungi from Yuggoth, and they keep it in a can somewhere. So he says, "You can't go back till you get my brain." So.
Yeah.
Or get my body. I think you have the brain with you, right?
Yeah, but you don't have the body, so you got to get his body back.
You're like traveling. You're like, there's alien monsters doing everything, and then the Watcher of the Green Pyramid wakes up and starts destroying the world. And you go to the moon, because now we know Yuggoth has a moon, Pluto has a moon. You go to the moon, and there's aliens there that can ally with you or be new enemies. They're kind of there watching the fungi, right? So,
yeah, sure. Interesting. That one sounds pretty cool too. Yeah, I mean.